awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami Jerusalema ikhaya lami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana Jerusalema ikhaya lami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami Jerusalema ikhaya lami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana Jerusalema ikhaya lami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana dawo yami ayikholana buso wami.
Hello everyone. We will probably wait 2 or 3 more minutes and then start with the webinar so that some of the people that come a bit late hear everything. So 2 or 3 more minutes and then we will start.
Ilondoloze zuhambe nami dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami ilondoloze 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 zungangishilana ilondoloze 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 zungangishilana dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami Jerusalema ikhaya lami, ilondoloze uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Jerusalema ikhaya lami, ilondoloze uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze uhambe nami.
Okay, let's start. Julia, could you turn down the music, please? Thanks. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for this very exciting webinar. Before we start, we just want to inform you that the webinar session will be recorded. And further, please stay muted during the webinar so that we can understand Samir and also all the other speakers very well. I'm Julius, and I'm co-moderating today the session with Reem. I'm 22 years old. I'm based in Vienna, Austria, and I'm working for SOS Children's Villages International. I'm very, very excited to be here because I absolutely think that entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship, and social work is really important and will shape our future even more. Therefore, I'm excited to be here and listen to Samir and also to our other guests. Now I want to pass on the word to Reem, who's also moderating today. Reem.
Hi everyone, I'm Reem and I'm also very happy to be here and co-moderate today's webinar. A little bit about me, I'm an SOS volunteer from Lebanon and an environmental science graduate. So this webinar is especially exciting for me and I'm very glad to be here. I'm excited to hear all about EcoSoap. So now to get into today's agenda. First of all, we're going to now give you a short overview of what you can expect from the webinar. First of all, we're going to present to you what this webinar series is all about and why we're organizing it. Afterwards, we'll have our first interactive part where we'll get to know you, the audience, a bit more. We're trying to have this webinar be as interactive as possible. So if you can, please engage actively and be a part of this wonderful event. We'd love to hear from you. After this, our main guest, Samir, will tell you about his life, what he's doing, and his great initiative, EcoSoap. Following this, myself and my fellow Go Green Committee member, Michelle, will give you a quick overview of our initiative at SOS Lebanon. And towards the end, you'll have time to ask Samir any questions you might have. So now let's introduce Samir a bit. So Samir, we've already mentioned you quite often and some of the audience have already heard your name, but I think it would be great if you could introduce yourself a bit more.
My pleasure. Thank you, Julius and Reem. I'm especially partial to today's webinar, coming off of our recent Earth Day, which is a global holiday. We don't have too many of those. And also, Reem, I am also an environmental science student.
Great.
I'm really excited. My story is very short. I'm 28 years old and I'm the founder and CEO of EcoSoap Bank. And if I may, CEO does not stand for what you think it might. CEO stands for Chief EcoSoap Officer, and I'm very, very proud of that.
Yeah, that sounds like a quite good and accurate description. So maybe I can introduce a bit our webinar series. World of Tomorrow is a webinar series that was created to inspire all of you, our audience. Some of you are joining with us today here via the Zoom link session, but also some of you are in the YouTube live stream, and we wanted to create this webinar to inspire you, to give you ideas for your career, but also for your personal life, so we can learn on so many different levels today. We invite key speakers from all over the world to speak about important topics such as youth empowerment, education, business and trade, sustainability, gender equality, and yeah, well, today with Samir, we will talk about EcoSoap. This today is our second webinar, which means that there's so much more to come. Last time we had Maria here in our session. Maria is a female pilot that works for DHL and motivated us to dream big. We want you, all of you, the audience, participants, but also speakers, to carry on that spark that we get here from our key speakers and use it to improve the lives of all of us around us, our community. The webinar series is hosted jointly by DPDHL and SOS Children's Villages. We hope you will enjoy this session as much as we, all of us, have enjoyed the last session, and that you will also register for the next webinar. As Reem already said before, we want you, the audience, to participate very actively. Some of you in the Zoom, but also in the YouTube session might wonder now, okay, how am I going to engage with you? So we are using this interaction tool that is called Slido to engage and participate. So to make it possible for you to participate and to engage with you in a very direct way with us, but also with Semi and our other speakers. Please, we want to get to know you a bit better. Therefore, we are using this tool you can access via link that Martin has posted in the Zoom chat, but also in YouTube, or you can scan the QR code here. Please scan the QR code, access the Zoom link, and put in the code, which is #Samir today. With this, you can enter Slido for the entire session, so everything will work via Slido today. Answer the questions. One second. Sorry. Answer the questions in the poll, and your responses will pop up here on the slide on the desktop, so everybody can see what you're answering right now. Let's become a bit more active. We want to hear you, who you are, and why you're here. So please use your phone or any other device and go to Slido. Our first question is thinking about soap. What is your favorite scent? So probably all of us have a very different taste. Maybe Simi or Reem, what is your favorite taste? Scent?
I agree with whoever wrote lavender. It's a classic. Very good choice.
I'm glad we have the approval. I'm actually partial to authentic Lebanese scents, which may be rose water or orange blossom.
Yes, definitely.
Which is absolutely beautiful. In the south of Lebanon, there's a town called Saida, where one of the oldest soap museums in the oldest soap factories in the world still exists there today. I think it's hundreds, if not thousands of years old.
Yeah, it's a very big industry there.
Wow. Have you been there, Reem, already?
Yeah, several times. It's a very nice place.
Amazing. So we have here in the chat orange blossom. I have no idea what orange blossom is. What is it? Do you know that, Reem?
I think it's a flower of the orange plant. It has a very sweet smell.
Oh, you would smell it on the street very easily. I think a lot of people mistake it for jasmine flowers, which is also beautiful too. But I'm partial, if I may. There are so many natural antibacterial ingredients like turmeric and lemongrass, which is commonly found in Southeast Asia as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
that's very cool.
I will save some of the suggestions here, and I will go to the next soap shop around and try to maybe experience a bit more some different flavors or taste signs. We have our next question. How open are you to talk about personal hygiene? Ooh, that's a difficult one.
Mhm.
What about Reem? You, Reem?
I'm always open to talk about that. I think it's a part of health and self-care. It's definitely something important. But I understand some people who are like less reluctant to talk about it. I mean, more reluctant to talk about it. I think, yeah,
Yeah,
5 is the majority.
our audience is also more open to talk about it, but none of or very few of us are saying that for sure always and whenever you want. Samir,
Mm.
what is your experience? Maybe you have come more in contact with people about that.
Let's put it this way. It has been my profession for the last 8 years to talk about these things. Now, everyone's privacy should be respected, but in order to make progress, we need to begin talking about these matters, especially when it comes to young girls and women in the developing world. They don't have a safe place to change or take care of themselves. And one of the core tenets of this entire presentation today is acknowledging that there is a global problem, that hygiene doesn't exist equally around the world, but we can do something about it.
Definitely.
Mm. Definitely.
Okay, now we have a short quiz. So the quiz will contain 3 questions, and I'm actually quite excited to see who's gonna guess the right answers. I tried to do it before today, and I struggled a bit, to be honest. So we'll see. You can join with your name, but you could also put any other name you want, so it doesn't have to be your real name. You could, if you say you want to be Butterflower today, then be Butterflower today. So we have popping up already some names here. Reem, haven't you joined yet?
No, but I should. Mm. Yeah, it would be very embarrassing for me if I failed the quiz.
No, your answers won't be public. You will
Oh,
not see
okay.
the answer. Yeah, Simi, you can also join. Okay, the first question: what do you think? How many people worldwide lack basic hand washing facilities at home? That's a difficult one. Do you already know the answer, Simi?
I should know the answer. Oh yes. Oh yes.
Okay,
But even just looking at this, I'm inspired to do something about this, you know.
yeah, we're not going to spoil the audience. But yes,
Oh,
2 out of 5 people. So quite a lot of work to do still. How was it for you, Simi, doing now the COVID situation? Did you feel that more people become aware
Yes,
of this
yes,
issues?
of course. There is always a silver lining to crises worldwide. This was one of them. And so I'll speak about it more during the presentation, but yes, more people than ever are talking about hand washing, including right now. This is an example.
Yes. Oh, we have already our second question. How long should I scrub my hands to remove harmful germs? 5, 10, 20, or 60 seconds?
How long is Jerusalem?
I think around 3 minutes. That's more like for teeth brushing.
Right.
So, yeah, well, some of you are quite a long time in the bathroom washing your hands, 60 seconds. Wow.
And I just want to share briefly, if I may. It is not necessary to use warm or hot water. That has been recommended.
Wait. We have a third question for that. Okay, please nobody have heard that. Okay, our last question. What do you think is it better to wash hands with warm or cold water?
What a coincidence.
Oh my God.
Of all the topics in the world.
Yes, actually, I hope no one has heard what you were saying, but I was quite surprised. So, Samir, you want to spoil the correct answer?
So warm water out of comfort. However, water is a luxury on Earth, and therefore whatever water you have available to you is the right water to keep ourselves healthy.
Yeah, so actually, it doesn't matter if it's warm or cold water, everything works. Yes, maybe it shouldn't be burning hot, but well, the rest should work. Okay, Reem.
Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed that quiz, and I think now it's time to introduce Samir's initiative. So now we're ready to hear your presentation and what you're doing, and I think we're all prepared to be very inspired. And yeah, I think I speak for all of us when I say we're very much looking forward to this. And yeah, I've been excited about this all week. So please, Samir, the floor is yours if you'd like to start presenting.
If I may receive confirmation that everyone can see my screen, I'll get started right away.
I can see your screen.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I promise not to spoil any more polls or quizzes today. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And before I begin, I would like to do a virtual round of applause to all the organizers, all the interns, all the volunteers who have put this event together. I speak from firsthand experience. A lot of labor of love has been put into these events, and I do hope you'll attend the next event as well. In short, my name is Samir Lakhani. I'm 28 years old, and I have one very simple mission in life, and that is to make the world more sustainable and also a healthier place for children to grow up in. If you remember only one thing from today's short presentation, please let it be this. Anyone can change the world, especially us youth. And I hope that my story serves as an example of that, and how I started an organization from a single moment of inspiration, a single spark, to use Julius's term. And I was able to come up with a creative solution to an age-old problem and to take action in this world. Again, inspiration without action is meaningless. And so I started and I founded an organization called Eco Soap Bank, and we are able to reach millions of children across the world with soap and hygiene education that they need to keep themselves healthy and happy. I think we've all had moments of inspiration, where we have fundamentally changed forever. It's maybe a door that we walk through and we are just not the same after walking through that door. Well, that has happened to me 7 years ago, and I will tell you that story. I'm the son of refugees from Africa, and so it's always been in my blood to return to the developing world and to help those people in need. And so 7 years ago, I found myself volunteering in a rural Cambodian village, helping out in schools, helping farmers establish their farms. And while I was there, I witnessed something absolutely transformative. Rural Cambodia is a beautiful and magical place, seemingly untouched by modern civilization or even technology. Maybe you'll see an electrical wire here and there, but other than that, it is an otherworldly and magical place. But when I was there, I saw something terrifying. I witnessed a village mother in that village bathing her newborn son, but unfortunately, she was scrubbing his skin with laundry powder or detergent. And we all hopefully know that is a product that should never be applied to the skin, let alone a newborn child. And so I mustered the courage to ask her and speak to her. And I asked her why she might not be using a bar of soap, something that we all might use or take for granted. And she told me something I'll never forget. She told me that a single bar of soap was the equivalent of 2 days' wages, and it was just too expensive for her. It was a luxury item. And so I did a little bit more research. And I found out, according to UNICEF, that 820 million children go to school every single year around the world without any place to wash their hands with soap and water. That's about 40% of schools on this planet. 40% of schools on planet Earth don't have soap for hand washing. Now, me as one individual, I look at something as big and as terrifying as that, and I just don't know what to do about it. What can one person do about something so big? And so I returned to my hotel room feeling very discouraged, if I'm being honest. I just didn't know how I could get involved. And then I stepped into the bathroom and I noticed that my housekeeper at the hotel had been throwing away the bars of soap that I had barely even used or touched. And in that moment, it hit me like a lightning bolt. This was my moment of inspiration. And I knew what I could try to help that village woman in the remote village, but also for countless, if not hundreds of other mothers just like her. And so Eco Soap Bank was founded in a hotel bathroom, and it was founded on the simple idea that if we could provide jobs to women in those communities to collect and safely recycle leftover soap from hotels, maybe we could redirect it to children in school. And not only that, maybe we could teach those children how to wash their hands appropriately so that they have the tools and the knowledge to keep themselves healthy and happy. And I'm happy to say that this initiative has really grown leaps and bounds over the last couple of years. These are soap recyclers making soap for local schools in Tanzania. These are soap recyclers in Sierra Leone getting ready to save lives in their own community. And these are soap recyclers in Kathmandu, Nepal, providing soap to the most far away and remote villages in rural Nepal. I'm very happy to say that a couple of years ago, I received a very large award from CNN Heroes. And if you'll watch closely, I'm wearing the exact same suit because it's the only one that I own. But here is the point, and this is why I'm showing you. We do not do this work for our world to receive awards. We start and we do this work because we have a singular mission in mind. And our singular mission altogether should be that children across the world have the soap and the knowledge that they need to keep themselves healthy for life. But something happened to all of us. In the beginning of 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic hit, and we were employing 150 women in 13 countries around the world to recycle leftover soap. But as you all know, nobody was traveling at the time. And so we had no soap in a new world where soap was even more important, to Julius's point. And so we needed to start thinking creatively. The old solutions were not enough for this new world we all now live in. And so we started reaching out and calling every single soap factory in the entire world to see if they had any waste, if they could donate any soap to help the cause at a time where soap could save lives. And what we discovered would fundamentally and forever change Eco Soap Bank. We discovered that soap factories around the world will waste about 25,000 metric tons of soap per year. That's about 250 million bars of soap from factories that go directly into the landfill, go directly into the trash. And so we realized that if we could redirect these products to our women in all these countries, they could recycle it into brand new bars and save lives during the COVID-19 pandemic. And I have to say that we were quite successful. For the first time in its history, we were able to provide soap to every single hospital, healthcare facility, and quarantine facility throughout the country of Cambodia and several other countries as well. And even more importantly, we were able to provide soap to over 2,500 schools and refugee settlements at a time where people needed soap more than ever. These are just some numbers of our recent impact since the COVID-19 pandemic. You'll see that we've distributed about 17 million bars of soap. And most importantly, we've reached 4.5 million children, not only with soap, but with culturally relevant hygiene education. Because according to, akin to the poll we just took, everyone has different levels of comfort when talking about hygiene. And we believe that hygiene should be discussed in the most respectful and sensible way possible. And I'm very, very proud to show that we have redirected soap to these countries around the world, ensuring that people are safe and healthy. And so this goes to the second main point. First, we have inspiration. Second, we have creativity. And I want to pause on this moment just for a second. Why, as youth, I think that we are born into this world with new eyes, new lenses, and new perspectives. We need to come up with creative new solutions that impact as many people as humanly possible. And so I want to say that this initiative is as much about saving the environment as it is about helping children or providing jobs to women. You'll take a look at our product, at our soap. And it's perhaps not something that you'll find on a supermarket shelf, but let me tell you, boy, am I proud of this thing. You'll see that the boxes look a little damaged and a little bit like they're reused. Absolutely. These are upcycled boxes that we collect from local restaurants in the cities that we work in and repurpose them to serve as packaging for our soap. Furthermore, you'll take a look at the string that's used to tie the box, and we're very proud to say that is also upcycled. We delicately pull these strings from burlap bags, from rice bags all over the world that merely were simply being thrown away. And this is the point. When we provide this type of soap to a rural school, for example, and a school teacher or a principal holds this box of soap, we are sending a message. And the message is that every single atom, every single particle that they hold in their hands has been recycled. Because we should not advance humanity at the sacrifice of the environment anymore. We can work and make progress hand in hand with our environment. And that is my creative solution. For recipients that want each individual bar of soap wrapped, we use other upcycled materials like local newspaper articles or local magazines as well to ensure that we are not leaving a negative environmental footprint on our world. And the second thing I want to talk about is this is as much about empowering women, giving women a platform not only to survive and make progress for their families, but to serve as champions for their own communities. And I want to share a story quickly about our very first employee named Tirang. I interviewed Tirang in the year 2014. And I remember during our interview, she was so painfully shy. She would not look us in the eyes at that time. She was a secondary school dropout, very young at the time. And I remember I could feel that something was bothering her. But we felt that there was a spark inside her. And so we employed her, and I'm very happy to say that she is still working with us today, 8 years later, and she's managing a soap recycling branch in Cambodia, managing and leading 34 other women there too. And so this is the point. Young women can change the world. This is just one story, and with a little bit of faith and a little bit of investment, anybody can do it. And so we get to the last bullet point of today's discussion, action. I think that we need and have the responsibility to take action. If we see something in this world, no matter how daunting or large it may seem, little steps make the difference. And so the organizers of today's webinar and presentation, we all got together and we thought, how can we turn today's webinar and event into action? And so we decided that we will distribute 1 million bars of soap to children in need globally in your honor. Thank you all for being here today and making sure that we take action for people that need it, especially at a time where people need it. But it starts with you. We all have change in the palm of our hands. On the smallest level possible, I think it'll intrigue people to know that 80% of diseases are spread through hands alone, through our hands. And so, like Gandhi says, we need to be the change that we want to see in the world. And so simple hand washing and improved health starts with you. But also, keep your eyes out, please, for that moment and spark of inspiration. Only you will know when it hits you, but when you do, I implore you, please come up with a creative solution that is respectful to the most marginalized in our community and also has dual respect for the environment. And lastly, to take action so we can empower children and women all over the world and make sure that they have the tools that they need to stay healthy at a time like this. Thank you, Julius. Thank you, Reem.
Wow, that was wonderful. That was very, very inspiring and really, really great to hear. I especially liked how you linked environmental causes to humanitarian causes because it's a misconception that they are in conflict with each other. They're very much linked. And I love how with Eco Soap, you're kind of addressing both. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah, totally. Sorry, Sammy.
No, thank you so much for identifying that. Listen, you know, when the UN got together and created those 17 sustainable development goals, and I encourage everyone to look those up, it was done under the impression that we all need to work together to a single destination, right? And that it wasn't just the UN, it wasn't just one country that was going to make sustainable change in this world. And so I realized that if we could make a statement, if we could serve as an example that, to your point, we can save lives and the environment at the same time, I will have lived a very good life and a very worthwhile one. And so I implore everyone, if and when you start your own nonprofit, your own social work project, your own volunteering initiative, please, out of respect for the environment, it can be done hand in hand.
Definitely.
Yeah. Also, my takeaway is that even though your numbers are really big and that you have an amazing reach, still you show us that we have to start where we see the problem and just go for it. And even though small changes will contribute to the bigger cause, and that's something that I take away from your speech. Probably all of us have a lot of questions to Samir right now. To our audience, please use the Slido link again. You have it in the chat again. So you have there the option to type any questions, and we will then ask them to Semir. In the meantime, we have Michelle and Reem here, and they will tell us a bit more about their Go Green initiative. I personally am really excited that you are here today because some of you were already in SOS when they were younger, and some of you maybe joined later, but all of you are united by the cause to protect our planet, which is amazing. And yeah, you also want to engage with others and with your community. And I think that's something where you are really close to Semir's approach and what he's doing and with EcoSoap. So I'm really excited to hear a bit more about you and your initiative. Please, the floor is yours. You have 5 minutes. Present Go Green SOS.
Okay, I just have to check if Michel is still having, I think he's having connectivity issues.
Yes. Hello, guys. Hello, everyone. First of all,
Okay.
I'm so sorry for my bad connection, if you are hearing me.
No problem, we hear you.
Hello, guys.
Yeah, we can hear you. Is it working?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So, can I start?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Can I start?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Michel, and this is Reem. We are volunteers from SOS Lebanon, and we are going to talk about our initiative, SOS Go Green. In our home country of Lebanon, environmental degradation and improper waste management has been a big problem, especially in recent years. From deforestation to nation-wide waste management crisis to cancerous levels of air and water pollution, our natural environment has been through a lot due to both government inaction and the general lack of environmental education. This problem is only going to get worse. It's up to the next generation to restore and or at least try to lessen the damage. So this is why we decided to start SOS Go Green, or that's why we create SOS Go Green.
Okay, so SOS Go Green is essentially a sustainability initiative. What we mean by this is that it's concerned with ingraining environmentally friendly behaviors within the youth. And our main goal with it is to lessen the environmental impact of SOS Children's Villages in Lebanon and increase the environmental awareness in our communities. So what we want is to make SOS Lebanon a green NGO. Okay. Michel?
So we had a lot of trainings. Yes, can I speak?
Yes, we can hear.
Yes. Hello. Yes. So we had a lot of trainings and understand the process of recycling. Then we do trainings to young people, to mothers, to youth, to children, and to employees to encourage them and to engage them. And we raise awareness about it. And all this is monitored by young people. So we started by recycling. We want to do a recycling competitions between the houses to encourage healthy competition and provide incentive. Plus, we put an installation of solar panels at one of the villages, which will hopefully be expanded to other villages, and more exciting activities coming soon. And also, the materials impact of our activities may not be huge. We cannot ignore the psychological part of our initiative. With our training session at the village, we made sure to help the youth now know the importance of nature and why we need to protect it.
Yes, exactly. And even after the youth eventually leave the villages, we want them to take certain ideas with them. So it's not really just about them knowing how to recycle. We want them to know why we need to care about the environment and how a clean and healthy environment benefits us. And I think with a lot of Lebanese youth, this is a learned experience because we do live in a very degraded environment. We also want them to learn and to have a general idea of how to lessen environmental impact at an individual level, through recycling, waste reduction, and just this is more like the environmental part of it. And I think most of all, what they're going to take away from this is the importance of teamwork and collaboration, because the houses are going to be working together and monitoring their own recycling activities. So, although on the grand scale of things, this may seem like a small start, um, what we're hoping is that this will start a ripple effect that will eventually reach other organizations similar to SOS, as well as our corporate partners, for example. So at the end of the day, SOS Go Green is all about working together to preserve nature and to create a healthy planet for future generations. And I think that's about it. Thank you very much for listening.
Wow. I must say I'm speechless. You're so great, and I have no words to describe what I'm feeling right now. I can only say that you're amazing and your work is wonderful. And I think it's so, so important. I'm sure that you have amazed our audience, and I hope that at least some of them take your spirit and carry it on to their local community. As you said, bring it to other organizations. And wow, I think Samir agrees with me that it's amazing what you're doing.
I have tears in my eyes because this is the entire message of my presentation, and it has been done, and I hope that a ripple effect is being made. Reem, if I may ask,
Yeah.
in these discussions with youth, was there any responses or conversations which surprised you? Any standout conversations that you remember?
I think when we were training the youth, something that actually surprised me a bit was the fact that a lot of the youth were actually very passionate about this before we even started the training. I mean, I have cousins that are children. I know how children are, and I expected some of the younger youth to kind of be quite dismissive towards it, but they were super excited. They participated really well, and I was honestly very impressed by them and their spirit.
Because
Yeah.
we will inhabit this world when we do grow up. Julius, I think your work is done. Look at all the action already happening in front of your eyes, sir.
Amazing. Thanks, Michelle and Reem, for sharing. And yeah, as already said, I see a lot of similarities between what you two are doing, empowering others, raising awareness, and yeah, contributing to the greater cause. Well, coming back to Semir, I hope that you, all our audience and participants, have already typed some questions and that we can now get some answers to them. Feel free to ask anything you want. You can still ask questions in the chat or anywhere where you will.
Okay. So we've got 12 questions already. That's great.
Should we start with the first one?
Yes. So,
Sorry, go on, Reem.
okay. So, how does a typical day look like for a chief eco soap officer?
Because we have so many questions, I'll respond briefly, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And this is an important message, and thank you for asking a question about leadership. My philosophy on leadership is that I work for and I serve the employees at our organization. Leadership to me is just another word for service. And so my job when I wake up in the morning is how can I give the women we are employing worldwide, 160 women now, the tools that they need to make an even bigger impact in their own communities. And so, again, leadership to me is nothing more than service.
That's amazing.
Maybe let's go on with the second question. Why your choice is to make soap instead of anything else?
I love this question. And so I relish the answer. There is a reason why we are not employing women worldwide to make sugary soda or cigarettes, right? Something that perhaps would have a higher demand. We are making a product that has the potential to save lives. So if I may, the point of Eco Soap Bank, the point that the message we are trying to get across to people all across the world is that every issue that you look at, every piece of the chain is making an impact. From recycling a product that was going to be wasted, to empowering women instead of large machines. And lastly, we are creating a product that has the potential to save lives in this world and not just a product that may be purchased. So I love soap. And frankly, if you look at those statistics and you remember those statistics, we have a lot of work to do.
Amazing. Next question, Reem.
Okay, this seems like a very interesting question. What skills are important to develop to follow in your footsteps?
What skills are important? First and foremost, communication skills are most important, I would say. So please, I implore you, even if you read about a topic that is not related to your job, your profession, or perhaps an initiative that you're starting, please keep on reading. That's the first, it's a baseline activity that we all must do. But if I may, one of the most frequent questions I receive, and perhaps I'm jumping ahead like during the quiz, is what is the first thing that I need to do to start an initiative? And Reem, I would love for you to follow up as well, if that's okay, because you're a prime example. For me, when you walk through that door of inspiration and you are forever a changed person after going through, the first thing one must do is to find partners, is to find other champions, just like you teamed up with Michelle. This work is never done alone. Okay. And so the very first thing that I did after starting Eco Soap Bank was I started to develop partnerships with hotels. I started to develop partnership with non-governmental organizations in that country because I knew I could not do this alone. But in life, nothing good is ever done alone. Reem, what do you think?
I think, yeah, I think personally, like I can't say much about having to look for partners because I joined SOS after Go Green had already been established. But I think that from the progress we've been doing and acquiring more new partners, I think it's super important. And I'd like to give a shout out to our team leader, Sarah, because she is like a star at finding connections and establishing partnerships because it really is challenging sometimes.
So we have a question to Reem and Michelle. Since when do you do the initiative? So Reem, you already partly answered that one. And what made you do it in the beginning? Michelle, if you're still in the call and also able to speak, please join us.
Michelle, can you hear us? I'm not sure.
Yes,
Oh,
of
yeah.
course, I'm here.
Then maybe you can answer the question.
Yes, what's the question?
Since when do you do the initiative and what made you do it in the beginning?
Yes. After 17 October and after all the crisis and the explosion in Lebanon, here in Lebanon, we start by helping others and by volunteering. That's why we started and we create SOS Go Green. We create this team to make a change, even if it's a small change to do it. So we started, yes, by taking trainings from from a lot of, if you Reem cafe.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, the reason it started is because there was a need for it, essentially. Yeah, like
I
there was a
can imagine.
demand. Yeah.
Yes, I can imagine. So we had that question already earlier popping
Yeah.
up, so I'm asking it again. Semir, what skills are important to follow in your footsteps to do something similar? And maybe afterwards we can pass that question on also to Reem, uh, how youth can also do similar activities that you do. But Semir, first you.
I think one of our advantages at youth is that we are technically quite advanced. We have the world at our fingertips. We know how to find information, we know how to research, but we also know how to reach people halfway across the world. This is an example of that. And if I look at the average age of the organizers on today's webinar, we are the future. We are the technical future as well. So one of the most important skill sets is to use every tool that we have at our disposal to advocate for a better environment. And Reem, one of the absolute most beautiful things I heard today from your presentation is that the point is to cultivate and create an entire generation of environmental leaders, because when we become older, we will have additional voting rights, we will have additional opportunities to voice what we want to see in this world. But if we lack the education, if we lack the awareness, we will yet lose another generation at the sacrifice of the environment. But Tareen, what skills
Definitely.
did you and Michelle employ putting this initiative together?
I think definitely a skill that we needed was communication skills, because I think when you're explaining something to adults, it's very different than explaining to youth. Um, so I think a lot of creativity is needed with that. I think creativity, like you said in your presentation, is very important. Um, I think, yeah, creativity and communication are, I think, very important skills to start initiatives. So, yeah. Okay.
Oh, going on, the first question, maybe Reem, you can read it.
Yes. So this is an interesting one. Did you have to learn how to make soap? Or are there some kind of consultants for the women to teach them how to recycle the soap?
I have a very funny story.
Mm.
The moment after my moment of inspiration in a bathroom, of all places, right, to be inspired, the very next day I had to go out into the world in Cambodia and look for supplies of soap, look for partnerships. And so please visualize this. Please imagine this. You have a young man about 20 years old with a crazy idea in his head. He puts on a Hawaiian t-shirt, a colorful t-shirt, because that's all that I had, and a pair of shorts. And I hop on a rickety bicycle. And I go from five-star hotel to five-star hotel in Cambodia. And I walk in and I introduce myself to the receptionist and I ask, I must speak to your general manager. It's an emergency. There are people out there in the village that do not have soap. And this person, rightly so, is looking at me like I'm totally crazy. And when I was able to clearly communicate to the general manager, we would like your leftover soap so that we can recycle it and redistribute it to people in need, they immediately understood. They knew that there was value here and the potential to save lives. But to answer the question, I took all this soap back to my hotel room. I went to the local market and I bought all sorts of different equipment, meat grinders, cheese graters, buckets, and ladles. And I had to figure out a way to safely recycle the soap. And I'm afraid that my housekeepers, in seeing all this kitchen equipment, They thought I was some sort of weird criminal. But let me tell you, we did find a way to safely recycle the soap into a new format. Here is a bar of our soap, just a typical bar of eco soap. And we are slated to make between 25 to 26 million bars of soap this year for people in need.
Wow. Amazing. What a number. Maybe the next question. So we're kind of running out of time, so probably we're just going to manage 1 or 2 more questions. But the next question is perfectly fitting to that. It looks amazing what you're doing right now. And the question is, how did you start and how were you able to scale all of this up? Because now your numbers are big and what you're doing has an amazing impact. But how was it at the beginning? Were you frustrated and when you didn't have that outreach, that impact?
This has not been easy. And if people take a look at our website or they hear me speak and they think that it all came together on its own, it's not the case. Anything good in this life never comes easy. But I can say one thing. It is most important to keep people around you that can pick you up when you're down. So the point is, and to my original point, this is never done alone. And so the very first thing, the very first step is not to come up with a business plan. It's not to develop a website. It is to build a team. It is to build partners with people just like you that can pick you up when you're down and help you out when things aren't going right.
Maybe our last question, Reem, the question above from Matt.
Okay. Yeah, so they said you have a great idea and thank you for the difference that you make. And their question is your Eco Soap business commercially successful? And they hope that it is.
Well, we are legally a nonprofit organization, and I consider our role to be more environmental and humanitarian. In terms of commercial soap and different types of soap product, I must also show something else. One of the things we've been working on is not only ways to provide soap to children, but how do you make it fun and engaging, just like Reem and Michelle did interacting with youth. And one of the things we have created is soap in the shape of animals and fun shapes and different sizes. And the point is this: we cannot afford to lose another generation of students and children across the world to poor hygiene. So our job is to make the most environmental product on the market, if you will, available to children and to make it fun at the end of the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Reem, maybe let's wrap it up.
Yes.
So time is running.
Yeah, so unfortunately the time is running out and we have only a few minutes left. So Samir, can you very briefly share your key takeaways that we should get from this webinar?
At the risk of repeating myself, I will happily do so. I saw there was a quick question about replicating the project through Africa. We are fully present in Africa and working as hard as we can to connect children with soap. Furthermore, the question came from South Africa. We're currently employing women in South Africa to make soap and to provide soap in slums of Khayelitsha and other neighboring countries like Zimbabwe and Eswatini. So we are trying our very best and working hard. Reem, to your question, and at the risk of repeating myself, 3 words only, 3-word philosophy: inspiration, creativity, and action. Inspiration: when you walk through a door that you know only you have walked through and you are a different person at the other side, please take a moment and come up with the most creative solution imaginable to make good on that moment of inspiration. What do I mean by creativity? One that serves the most marginalized communities and marginalized people in our community, but one that is also respectful of the environment, echoing Reem's and Michelle's initiative. And lastly, inspiration without action means nothing. Get started and let's change the world together.
Definitely. Very beautifully said.
Yes. Thanks for sharing, Samir. And I fully agree that those are the three most important takeaways. Also, with that creativity, you maybe find new opportunities that you wouldn't have thought about before. And start small, and then you can see how it is going, and what maybe you reach something big and amazing, or you stay on a small scale, but still you're making a change, and that's the most important thing. Coming to an end, we want to ask now the audience to also give us feedback, how they like the session, and maybe also how we can improve. So we are gonna post a link now in the chats, and also you have here the QR code, where you please take some minutes and fill out the survey so that we can improve even further. As the World of Tomorrow webinar organizers. Also, we want to remind you for the next webinar, but maybe Reem can say a bit more about that.
Okay, so the next webinar will be taking place at the end of May, and further information will be sent out, but possible topics are mindfulness and leadership or female empowerment. So hope everyone will enjoy these topics. And thank you to everyone who joined today, and we're looking forward to seeing all of you again next time. And I hope everyone enjoyed. So,
yeah, and from my side
you.
also, thank you, Samir. Thank you, Reem. Michelle, you were amazing today, and I'm feeling inspired, and I want to go out and, I don't know, change something, start something. So thanks for all that inspiration.
Thank you so much.
And joining today. Have a nice day, evening, morning, wherever you are. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you a lot.
Jerusalema ikayalami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana Jerusalema ikayalami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana